Burkina Faso and Malawi, two landlocked nations in Africa, face significant developmental challenges, despite their rich cultural heritages and diverse populations. Burkina Faso, located in West Africa, grapples with political instability, limited infrastructure, and recurrent droughts, which hinder its predominantly agricultural economy. Malawi, on the other hand, in southeastern Africa, struggles with high poverty rates, health crises such as HIV/AIDS and malaria, and frequent natural disasters impacting the food security. Both countries experience challenges in education access and quality, exacerbating their development issues. Addressing these multifaceted challenges is crucial for fostering sustainable growth and improving the livelihoods of their citizens. And here comes an organization called the Sonder Project. To talk about their work, I have Chad Zibelman, the CEO of the Sonder Project. Welcome to Jazuba Talks, Chad.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
Chad, what does the term Sonder mean, if it means something, and how does it relate to the mission of the Sonder Project?
I love that question. It's often a question people ask. So Sonder comes from a dictionary called the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, which is a dictionary that you can find online. And it's a dictionary for concepts that don't actually have words. And so there needs to be a more precise way of saying things. And so Sonder in this dictionary is the realization that each person has a story that is as vivid and complex as your own. Everybody, maybe there's always a main character in a movie, but there's all these extras in the background who are equally important, who have just as important stories to tell. And so when you come to this realization, the Saunder Project is the action that you must take when you start to understand this. And so that's where it comes from.
Wonderful. That's very, very interesting. And what motivated the founding of the Sonder Project?
The Sonder Project was founded in 2015, and it was founded by a group of successful entrepreneurs who wanted to give back. And they wanted to make a difference, and they wanted to try to have the greatest amount of impact on the most amount of people possible. And they were really inspired by Peter Singer and this idea of effective altruism. And so ultimately they decided, well, we want to have the greatest amount of impact. You have to give to the developing world. You have to give, especially the economically developing world, to be more specific. And so they started a foundation. They started funding some organizations that were working in Burkina Faso specifically. And some of our founders then had the opportunity to travel and go to Burkina Faso, and they were just so inspired by that opportunity and seeing things on the ground and saying, well, we can do so much more. We want to understand the impact. We want to help drive the decision making and not just be a foundation. And that was January 2015, and the Sonder Project was born in May of that year.
That's amazing. When you are in one part of the world and you decide to help the other part of the world. Of course, it comes with challenges. Of course, you have to ensure that the project is sustainable, right? So, what was the first project that you started with, and how have you expanded after that?
So we began through our partnership with another nonprofit organization, Build On, who builds schools, and that's how we were originally brought to Burkina Faso on a school build project. And then we identified water being a major need. Without water, how do kids attend school when they don't have clean water at home? It's oftentimes young girls and boys, students who are required to go and help their mothers fetch water, missing days of school. And it just creates this terrible cycle where you can't even benefit from education if you don't have water. So it's like, okay, we're providing education, but we also have to have water. And so we started there. And from there, water, we added a food security initiative. And we continue with some other education initiatives outside of just school construction.
Right. Water being the central project, how do you deal with the literacy aspect of it? How do you deal with the community developmental issues that come with it? So you solve one problem related to water, and everything else sort of connects.
Well, we are partners, and to say that we quote unquote solve is complicated. I don't think um, we're ever done ultimately. Not us, and not the partners, the communities that we're partnering with, but we see each other as on the same team, and we're working together. Um, and we see water, education, and food as interconnected. And you need water, you need food, and if you have those pieces, then you can more likely climb the ladder of opportunity, which is education. But without those base pillars of support of water and food, then it's really difficult to climb that ladder of education. And if you can climb that ladder, we see that as the way of kind of breaking free, of lifting yourself out of poverty. Education is, the great equalizer. And if you can climb that ladder, and if you have the support you need via water and food, um, opportunities exist. And you, the community member, become empowered because, as you should, everybody should have that opportunity, because everybody's life is equally important. Going back to this concept of Sonder, and so that's what drives us.
Let's take a break to understand what Chizuba is. Everyone at some point ponders on how this beautiful life can be made more meaningful. Maybe you're a leader trying to enhance your employees' experience at your organization. Or you already work for the community and seek volunteers with state of the art skills to strengthen your nonprofit. Whatever your situation, know that you can make a difference. Chizuba began with this very vision, a vision to facilitate every skill and every passion in the world in meeting a social need. Corporate volunteering has several benefits for both businesses and organizations. In parallel, experienced and enthusiastic volunteers join NGO workers, enabling them to serve the community more effectively. Chizuba offers everyone looking to add purpose and meaning to their lives a chance to connect or volunteer virtually with nonprofit organizations from over 100 countries around the world. Visit www.chizuba.net and explore opportunities to find meaning. Chizuba, your platform to do good. And now, back with our guest. True. So, tell us, do you have teams locally, or do you have teams that visit frequently from the US?
Oh, we have teams. I mean, we wouldn't function without people on the ground who are implementing our programs. Certainly not me implementing these programs from afar. That would never be successful. So we have local staff, host country nationals in both Burkina Faso and Malawi, who we have a country director, and we have coordinators who implement our program. So I work closely with, and that's how we're successful, because we are there on the ground. Visiting our communities, partnering, developing relationships. We have offices in each of these countries, and so that those relationships continue. It's a continuous connection.
Right. So when you are working locally, the administration needs to be taken into consideration, right? So the rules, the regulations, the facilities. So what is it that you find challenging? Is it collaborating with the local administration, or is it running the actual programs? And where do you seek support?
I will say, the administrative burden of any operating in any country creates, additional work that we wish we could just focus on implementing programs, and connecting with the community, because that's all ultimately kind of the fun stuff, you know. But yes, there are administrative challenges working with government, submitting reports, conducting audits locally. All of those things need to happen. But that's why we have an in-country staff, and we also have boards of trustees in each country, local Burkina Faso people and Malawi people who work separately, who advise us on a country-specific basis. So we have a U.S. board, we have a Burkina Faso board of advisors, we have a Malawi board of advisors. So all of those different supports advise us to make sure that we're in compliance, to make sure we're registered appropriately, and to help build connections.
Right. And when you talk of your team, sometimes it can get overwhelming, the kind of challenges that you face. So how do you and how does your team stay motivated?
Oh, there's no shortage of motivation when we're doing the work that we do.
Yeah.
I mean, just visit one of our communities and not only see the challenges they face, but see just like the joy and the appreciation and the resilience that they have. That's all the motivation that we need.
Well said, Chad. Absolutely. And I believe people can support your organization apart from donations. Which are the other ways that we can support the Saunder
There's
Project?
there's lots of different ways you can support. I mean, obviously financially is a great way, and you can visit our website at thesonderproject.org. You can sponsor a student directly. We currently sponsor over 200 students in secondary school, and so you can do that via our website. You can also support our well projects, or you can even sponsor a family who will get clean water this year as a result of your gift. Other people have come up with really innovative kind of fundraising efforts themselves. We had a gentleman, Kurt Freudenreich, who hiked the entire Continental Divide Trail, which goes from Mexico to Canada through the United States, and did that to fund a well in one of our communities in Burkina Faso. So there's lots of ways. All it's about is like bringing awareness. If there's something you're interested, if you're a musician, if you're a yoga teacher, if you're a teacher in a school, you can utilize your platform, your network, to bring attention to the work that we're doing, and that can create lots of fundraising aspects. We had a fifth grade student, who had a lemonade stand and sponsored a student, actually two students, as a result of that effort. So
How
all
sweet.
it really takes is like the passion and the motivation to do something, to take that action.
Very true, very true. Well, I hope through this podcast people get to know about your organization and the word spreads far and wide. And I hope you get the support that you're looking for. It was
And
wonderful
please check
talking to
out,
you.
I encourage folks to also check out our social media links,
Mhm.
especially particularly on Instagram and Facebook. We're also on LinkedIn, and you can really follow what's happening most directly there. So thanks again for the opportunity.
Wonderful. So I think by enhancing education, clean water access, and food security, we do empower communities. And the Sonder Project here is doing amazing work. Please visit their website and see how you can help. Thank you very much.
Thank you again. It's my pleasure.